Again, it is very dependent on you, what you have access to, how much time you've got, and again, quite frankly, how hard do you want to work that day? Now, real quick before we get started, I just want to make sure that you guys know that the first 7 days of my kettlebell program, Project Bellplex, are free. Project Bellplex is my take on functional kettlebell training, and in it, you're going to be building functional strength, conditioning, and mobility. You're going to be learning how to use kettlebells in a safe and efficient way. You're going to be doing workouts you actually enjoy doing, and most importantly, you're going to be doing all of those things in a time-efficient manner. So go ahead and click the link below this video to get started with your free trial today. What's going on, guys? So in this video, we're going to be going over how to structure a kettlebell workout. We're going to be going over a structure that I use all the time and have used a bunch in the past and still use it with myself, with programs, with Project Bellplex, and with clients. It works every time. It is super simple and gives you a nice blueprint to just kind of like plug in exercises, briefly change sets and reps, and you will be good to go. And you can use this format throughout your entire week. This format is definitely a little biased towards strength training, but I will show you ways that you can just briefly adjust it and make it a little bit more of a conditioning-based workout. It is going to be a super simple way to do that, all right? So let's go ahead and get started. Our workout or our structure has 3 parts, 2 main parts really, and then 1 kind of optional part that I'll talk about in a little bit. So first one is going to be our main lift. So when it comes to our main lift, we have 4 different options. We have our snatch, we have our clean and press, Turkish get up, and a complex. These are what I consider the 4 horsemen, let's say, when it comes to strength with kettlebells. Snatch, clean and press, Turkish get up, and complexes. These are what I like to put a lot of my effort in, try and challenge myself with some heavy weights in, and really focus on. And they're really good ways for me to also measure my progress, and for you to measure your progress too. How much weight can you snatch for 1, 2, 3, and so on and so forth. You can kind of think about these as like the squat, bench, deadlift, and stuff like that when it comes to your kettlebell training, all right? Now, ways that we're going to go about using our main lift. We have a set and rep scheme. So 1 to 5 reps. And then we go anywhere from 5 to 8 sets, all right? So these are the ways I tend to go about this and how I like to do it with people. The reason I like to use these exercises as our main strength portion. So I don't want to be going too high with the reps. When it comes to the reps, obviously the complex is going to be a little different. You know, I usually kind of stay in that 1 to 5 rep range when it comes to each exercise for a complex, but obviously as you're doing it, you might be doing 10, 15, something like that, total reps in an entire complex. So that's kind of slightly separate, but at least for these 3 right here, anywhere from 1 to 5 reps, and then we're going anywhere from 5 to 8 sets. Now, the reps depend a little bit on, 1, the weights that you have access to. So, you know, maybe if you have a weight that's a little bit too light for you to snatch or for 1 to 2 reps, you're going to lean more towards the 4 to 5. Same thing with the clean and press, the get ups, and so on. All right. When it comes to the sets, anywhere from 5 to 8, you have a couple different ways to go about that. 1 is kind of depending on how much time you have. If you don't have that much time for your workout, you probably want to keep it closer to 5 or 6 reps. If you have a bunch of time, let's creep into the 7 or 8. It also depends on, quite frankly, how hard you want to work. Right? If you're working out every single day, then maybe you don't do 8 sets. That's going to be a lot, you know? So then maybe you lean more towards the 5 or 6. If you're working out 3 times a week, then maybe we're going closer to 7 or 8 sets so we can really push ourselves on the days that we are working out. And also too, similar to the reps, depends on the weights that you have access to, you know? So maybe if your weights aren't as challenging as somebody else's, then maybe you throw in an extra set or 2. So you have those options. Again, it is very dependent on you, what you have access to, how much time you've got, and again, quite frankly, how hard do you want to work that day? So that's kind of the main theme we're going for on this one. What I like to do with these exercises and what I like to have people do is only do these exercises do these exercises alone, meaning I'm not going to be putting any other exercises with them. I'm going to do a snatch, okay, or a set of snatches. Let's say I'm doing 3 reps and I'm doing 7 sets. I'm going to do 3 snatches on my right arm, 3 snatches on my left, and then I'm going to rest for about 1.5 minutes, maybe even 2 minutes. Again, how much time do you have, how heavy are you going, and so on and so forth, all right? So I like to do those alone, so that way I can focus on them. I can focus on not being tired going into my next set. I can rest however long I need to, And I'm going to be able to focus on my form and focus on challenge myself and going heavy. Because like I said, these are the ways I tend to like to have people measure their progress when it comes to kettlebells, all right? So treat these the same way most people would treat their squat, bench, deadlift. They're gonna do a set of squats and then they might chill for a little bit, all right? It's a great way to go about that. It's a great way to make sure you are able to challenge yourself with some weight, and also they're complex exercises. So we wanna make sure our form is on point, all right? So that's our first part. Our second part is going to be our accessory lifts. And we are going to do 3 of them. 1, 2, 3. Now, this is where kind of traditional strength training comes into play, or at least I like to use it. So in traditional strength training, we have a push, pull, legs, and core exercises, and people tend to pick from those. That's what I like to do here. We've got those 4 options. We're gonna take 3 of them and throw them right in there. So for today, let's just say we're doing single arm rows, so a pull exercise. We're gonna do goblet squats, so a lower body exercise. And we're gonna do single arm push press. So you have pressing exercise. So core gets left out a little bit here, just for today. Now, obviously kettlebells are a little bit more full body and all encompassing. The single arm push press is not just straight up a shoulder exercise. We've got a lot more going on. So kettlebells are gonna be a little different in that, but the general concept makes it easy for us to plug and play exercises in there, okay? From here, we're gonna go anywhere from 4 to 5 sets, all right? Now, the way I like to do this is in a superset fashion. So I'm gonna do single arm rows, then a set of goblet squats, then a set of single arm push press. Maybe I have 20 or 30 seconds rest in between those, but I like to kind of move straight through them, 1, 2, 3. Then we're gonna rest a little bit, maybe a minute, minute and a half, 2 minutes. Again, what do I have time for? How heavy am I going? How much am I pushing myself? Again. Then we go back to the top, do another set of rows, squats, presses, rest a minute and a half, and so on and so forth until you've done 4 or 5 sets. Same thing. How much are we pushing ourselves? How hard do we want to work today? What do we have time for? Yada, yada, yada. Same concept to everything that we take that same concept into all of our workouts, all right? Now, when it comes to the reps, I don't have as much of a theme here. A lot of that has to do with, one, access to weights. You may just have one kettlebell, right? So maybe you can row it 8 times, you can squat it 15 times when you can only push press it 4 times, and that's fine. Use that as a factor in what reps you're using, okay? Now, when it comes to these, all right, even if you can snatch your weight 5 times and it's pretty comfortable for that, you can still make this exercise super snappy and make your form perfect. So there's other things we can focus on here. A row's a row, squat's a squat, push press is push press for the most part, all right? So I don't have as much of a theme when it comes to these reps. If you want a real easy one, anywhere from 5 to 15, okay? So you can take that into consideration. So 4 to 5 sets of that. Here is where we can switch things up a little bit to get some conditioning. Let's say you want to make this workout a little bit more conditioning based. You have a bike or a rower or whatever it is. You are going to take out one of your accessory lifts and you're going to add that in for the conditioning. All right, so for this example, row, run, bike, ski erg, jump rope, burpees, you know, whatever it is, okay? Pick something that's going to elevate your heart rate. If you want a little bit more of a conditioning-based workout, you will treat it exactly the same. Let's just say you have access to an assault bike. You're gonna do 15 calories, then you go into your 12 goblet squats, your 5 single arm push press. If you want, you can just go right back to the top since you want a little bit more of a conditioning-based workout there, or you can do the same thing, rest a minute to a minute and a half, then go back to the top. Make this workout your own and make it work for what you have access to and what you want out of the workout, okay? So if you want conditioning, you just throw that in there. If you want a little bit more strength-based, we go push, pull, legs, core, take 3 of those, plug them right in there for 4 to 5 sets, treat it as a superset, okay? Now your workout can be done right here. If you're challenging yourself, resting accordingly, and really pushing it here, this might take you 35, 45 minutes. You throw in a nice little 5 to 10 minute warm up and you're good to go. But let's say this maybe isn't enough or you want a little extra, no problem. What we're gonna do as a little bit of a finisher is we're gonna do any sort of carry. When it comes to kettlebells, we got a bunch of different options. Suitcase carry, farmer's carry, waiter's carry, front rack carry, so on and so forth. A bunch of different options. Throw that in there. 3 sets of 100 feet farmer's carry, right? We'll just use that as an example for today. Now, if you don't have access, if you don't have time for this or don't want this, what you can do is take your carry, because you know they're beneficial, and put it right there. So let's say we want to do some farmer's carries. We can make farmer's carries part of our accessory lift. Boom. Right there. And I like to consider most carries core work, since they are very core dominant, I guess you could say, especially if you're doing single side like a suitcase or a waiter's carry. Your core is going to be screaming at you. So that's a good way to kind of just get some core work in there, and then maybe you don't do your carry at the end. No problem, okay? So this is our super simple, great way to structure our kettlebell workouts. Like I said, you can take this into every one of your workouts. You might do this exact workout right here, and then tomorrow you're going to come in and do clean and presses for 3 reps, 6 sets. Then we're going to go, our accessory lifts can be, maybe you have access to a pull-up bar. Throw a pull-up bar in there. You're going to do split squats, and then you're going to do a Z press, right? There's ways to move or mix and match and throw in your exercises. You keep the same rep schemes and set schemes in mind, and you should be golden when it comes to putting together your workouts. Again, this is not the only way for you to put together your workouts, but it is a very simple way to structure your kettlebell strength. It has worked for a ton of people with me in the past. It has worked for me extremely well, so it will definitely work for you. Give this a shot. If you do, please let me know. Let me know how it worked for you. If it needs some advice when it comes to tweaking it on how to do that based on what you have access to and what you have time for, so on and so forth, please do not hesitate to reach out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this structure if you try it out, and I will see you next time. Real quick, don't go anywhere. Remember, you have a free trial waiting for you to Project Bellplex. Go ahead and click that link. First 7 days are free.